Will you look back when you're old and gray and think those dumb kids had a lot to say when we were trying to make this night one you'd remember? I don't care if my wheels don't turn, I don't care if my pipe don't burn, as long as I am flowing through your veins after I'm gone away.
It's Thursday night, and you know what that means.
I was actually getting ready because last week we said I was going to say it.
Oh,
that's something to look forward to next week. Yes. But it is the 50th episode, or as you called it and turned to me the other day, it's what's the elf episode?
Elf episode?
I went back to Roman numerals, but you were asking me what the elf episode was. Are we going to
have elves in it? That's what.
No, that's what I thought at first. Very weird. But our guests this week are Thrillwave, and they are Ella and Joy. How you doing?
Yay! Hey guys.
I had to stop then because I've been trying all week when I've been kind of saying Thrillwave. Sometimes I say Thrillville. That's what I stopped doing. I don't want to say it.
The old game, the old I used to love that. Yeah.
But what I'm going to do first for the people watching, I've actually got a video. It's about 1 minute 40, and it's just to highlight some of the things you've done, like when you went to Phantasialand to ride Taron and some stuff. You saw something very rare at your past day at Thorpe Park, which we're going to talk about. Yeah. But for everyone at home, here's some highlights of stuff on your channel.
Hey guys! Hello. I thought you were doing it. Hello.
Like, honestly, everything about this ride.
Twists and turns all over the place.
I thought my head was going to get chopped off. I thought my arms were going to get chopped off.
Oh my god. If anyone tells you about Taron, they cannot do it justice.
It's a great ride.
It's such a good ride.
Wait, roll back. Oh my god, did it roll back? No, it didn't.
It just rolled back.
I didn't even get that on camera.
Oh my god, we just saw a roll back. What the...
No way!
You missed it!
That's crazy.
We missed it!
Oh dear. There we go, missed a code silver on Stealth. Now this is where the rumour comes in. A lot of people say they don't get a t-shirt, they get nothing.
Oh my god, it's got... I thought it was a code gold.
That's the third time today.
That was so close to a code gold.
That was so close to a gold.
Oh my god, what the hell?
Deary me, it's not a third stealth rollback.
Going back to stealth now then, isn't
for f***'s sake. Right, okay, so...
This is a mess. Swarm is shut.
But no one's saying anything.
That's brilliant.
Did you want to...
That's cool, yeah.
Did you want to start with telling us about the operations, just because you were telling us how much of a mess it was at the end of that clip there?
Yeah, I mean, I know it was a pass holder day, so, you know, it's fine. I'm not going to go into attack them, but basically everything was closed, and what was open for a very short amount of time. It was a bit cursed that day.
Yeah, we still have fun. I mean, we more than worth going for the rollbacks alone. So yeah, but it was a bit of a mess, to be honest. But it's we didn't expect much. It's just down the road from us, so it was just nice to be back, really.
So I don't know if you want to explain for everyone at home the codes you were mentioning about to do with stuff.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So Stealth has 3 main codes. It's bronze, silver, and gold. So bronze is just the launch itself won't happen. So you'll kind of hear it do it's like 3, 2, 1, and then it will just kind of stay at the station, and everyone looks around like, what's going on? Silver is the rollback, which you saw, and a gold, which isn't really possible, but it's when it gets stuck right at the top, and it will just stay there. And they've got to get a crane from like Kent to come and drive and like get people back down again. So if that happens, it's not going to be fun.
Has it ever done that with people on it?
No, and it's actually never done it with people not on it either. It's just kind of one of those like risk things that they've got to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, never seen one, and hopefully never will. But
Yeah, but the crane that comes from Kent, it's got like a top speed of like 15 miles
yeah,
per hour
you'd
or
be up
something
there
like
for a
that.
while.
So if you did get stuck at the top of Stealth, you'd
Just
be there for
like
a
try and
long
rock,
time.
I would assume. And maybe you
Yeah,
can
I
pitch
think that's
yourself
why
back
it's
down.
probably not possible, because it would have to be perfectly balanced in the first place,
Yeah.
and then people would just rock forwards and backwards to make it move.
Well, it almost did it in that clip we just showed.
It really
Yeah.
looked like it, yeah. Yeah, if it was going to happen at all, it was probably going to be on that day, because
Yeah.
3 rollbacks is unheard of.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
crazy.
I have got some stuff planned for later in the show. We are going to talk about the fact that Ella's worked at Thorpe Park. That's going to be a part of the show later on to hook people in. But do you want to tell us how you met and how this channel started before we get into that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we met on Tinder. In my bio, I mentioned that I liked roller coasters, cocktails, and video games, and Joe liked the same 3 things. So I started the conversation off with that.
Yeah.
And it's been 4 years this year.
Yeah, 4 years this year. So yeah, pretty crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. And yeah, last year we bought our first place together, so we're here in Twickenham. And yeah, the channel, I guess it started when we were here. Really, we just sort of, Ella's very good at editing. She always has been. I wanted to give it a go, and yeah, we just love roller coasters, so we thought we'd share it with everyone. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love it. That's wonderful. Sorry. I get over enthusiastic, don't I, about stories?
Yeah,
and
I mean,
everything.
it's, and when people ask us how we met, it's like, yeah, Tinder, but it works, right? And
Yeah, it does.
it's, look at us now. We're
Yeah,
very
one of my closest friends, they met on Tinder and they got married 2 years this year. So yeah, it works.
Are there going to be wedding bells?
Oh,
Probably
at some point, I'm sure. Yeah, at some point.
I've said that to Dan a few times from Ginger and Brown, because he goes abroad on these stag do's very
Oh, right, yeah.
He's like the last one that's got married.
Yeah. No, I mean, other than that, other than Ella's friends, I don't have any other friends that are married yet. So it will be something that I'm sure at some point we'll be looking into.
Well, I'm guessing your first trip together was Thorpe Park then?
Oh, yes, it was. It was on your birthday, the triathlon.
Oh yeah, I did the Thorpe Park triathlon, so we got free tickets at the end of that. So actually, yeah, we did literally about a month after we met. We went to Thorpe Park together.
Bonded straight away on
I didn't
Stealth.
plan on talking about this because I didn't know about it, but I'm intrigued by the triathlon.
Yeah, so you start by swimming in the lake around Thorpe Park. Is not very nice to swim in, but you wear a wetsuit. And then they close the kind of Staines bypass where you do the cycling. So you cycle down like to Chertsey and back. And then the 5K is around the park. So the park's closed at that point. You get to run past the roller coasters. They're not on, but it's good fun. And then you get free tickets for you and whoever wants to come and watch you afterwards.
Yeah, she did really well.
So
Is that in the
cool.
off season then? I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's like when I
No, it was
Summer.
Yeah, it was on my birthday. It was on the 9th of June. It was just really early in the morning. It started at like 6.
Okay.
So by the time we were done, the park was open.
Yeah, and then it's a normal day
Yeah.
afterwards at the park.
Did you still work at Thorpe when you met Joe?
No. I last worked there in I think 2017 or 2018. And we met in 2019, so like a year or so before.
Just missed it, which is a shame because we could have got free tickets. I could have, if I just met Ella, if I'd hopped on Tinder a couple of years before, I would have had a free supply of tickets to Thorpe Park. But we got our annual passes now, so it's all good.
Were you a regular visitor before you met Ella then, or was it only an occasional thing?
No, yeah, I'd go quite a lot. I used to drive my parents crazy, like saying, "Oh, do you want to come to theme park?" When I was younger, because I'd be too scared to go on the rides, but I'd like want to watch other people go on rides. So yeah, I've always been like a huge theme park nerd. My parents just don't get it at all. They think I'm weird. They think I'm really weird.
Yeah, my home park used to be Chesington, so you spend a lot of time at Chesington. But yeah, Thorpe Park as well. I think my first time I went to Thorpe Park, I remember it was with my dad's work. A couple of his friends went, and I think Detonator or Tidal Wave, maybe both of them had just opened. They were like the newest rides, and yeah, just fell in love with it from then. And yeah, haven't looked back since.
Oh, that's just so lovely. Just to let you know, guys, hi to everyone in the comments. If you've got any questions, just ask away as well. You're quite welcome to ask them questions at Thrill Wave Studios as well. So I just thought I'd shout that out there.
Yeah, keep them coming.
Mike's got the questions.
Well, no, I've got some questions. I want to talk about. I haven't got any photos. I've showed some clips at the start of the show for anyone who's just joined. I want to talk about how you came to go into Fantasialand and why you chose Fantasialand over Europa Park and about going there because it's a very good vlog. Like even with, for example, before you talk about it, what you said about the entrance and how rubbish the entrance was, but when showing it looks a lot better.
Yeah, have you guys? I don't know if you guys haven't been, have you?
No,
I haven't.
No. So yeah, the entrance is really weird, but
Yeah, it's just like an underpass.
it's just like an underpass. It's in a really strange part of the country. It's a bit sort of sparse, but it's so wonderful. For a bit of background, I went to Phantasialand as part of a school trip when I was in year 8 or 9, I think. And then when we started the channel and we knew we wanted to go on trips together, it was the first real sell for me to Ella. So we were looking at other places.
Yeah, it was the main toss up though between that and Portaventura.
Mm.
Because I've been.
you didn't even consider Europa Park.
Not really.
Yeah.
No, not
I
yet.
thought
We
I'd
will.
forgotten about that.
Yeah. Oh no, we will be going at some point. I'm sure. It's just so many parks around Europe, so little time.
And I've heard so like many good things about Taran. Like I was just like, we've got to go. We've just got to go.
Yeah. We pretty sort of religiously followed construction on Fly as well. So that was, during lockdown when it was being built, we were watching like weekly videos on it. So I suppose it was a little bit of a pilgrimage in that sense as well to ride it when we went.
Oh, you guys are so lucky, like southern sort of schools. You get to go like abroad and stuff.
Well,
and I'm like, all the way up north, and I don't get to go abroad.
I got to go to the Eiffel Tower.
That's pretty cool.
And I watched people throw coins off it, not me.
So jealous.
But with that school trip, they split because our year was like split in two sides. One side of the year went to Disneyland Paris, and at the time I remember being like insanely jealous, because I'd never heard of Phantasialand, and I think even when I went, I didn't really appreciate it. It was only after I came back and I looked back at the pictures and the rides that we'd done. Like Black Mamba,
it's very cool.
It's such a cool ride.
Is it a Nemesis beta?
Incredible. What was that?
Is it a Nemesis beta?
I would say so.
Yeah, I think so. I really do. Yeah, which is people in the comments are probably going to like tear us apart over that. I know, Yeah. But I think so. Yeah, but I mean, of all the inverts I've done, I think I'd rate it probably top 3.
Yeah, I think so. It's very intense. It's sick.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's really good.
Did you want to tell us about Taran then? Because that was a big part of.
Taran is one of the best rides. I think, in fact, it's the best ride I've ever been on. It's going to be so hard to top because before it was Shambhala, which is a hypercoaster, like Mako, and I was always like, that's great. Nothing's going to top that. Taran is out of this world. It's so good. The theming, awesome. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Like, it's funny. Yeah. My parents were actually in Universal Studios in Florida at the time. So they were doing Velocicoaster and they were sending us pictures like, oh, this is so good. We so sad you guys aren't out here. And then we did Taran to sort of make us feel a bit happier, and I just absolutely loved it. It's awesome. The second launch on that, which is what you showed in the clip at the beginning, is so intense. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know. Like restraints, you like fly all over the place. It's so much fun.
I don't know if Coaster with the Joneses is trying to say it's stupid to say that it's not a Nemesis beta or that it is.
Probably that it is. I feel like
a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Well, Nemesis isn't alive at the moment.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Are you looking forward to the retrack, by the way? We mentioned Nemesis quickly.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it'll be interesting though, because I mean, you hope that I imagine they'll look after it and it'll end up being just as good as it was, but you hope that it doesn't lose any of its charm.
No, I don't really know what I don't want to change anything really.
Yeah.
There's actually 2.
Yeah,
there's actually 2 Nemesis, plural.
Oh come on, Nemesis Inferno is good. We used to sort of crap on Nemesis Inferno a bit.
It's good fun,
but it's good, especially when Nemesis isn't around at the moment. You got to get your fix somewhere. So Thorpe Park, Nemesis Inferno. Yeah, it's a good backup.
Just sounds like Highlander going, there can only be one. That's what I'm thinking.
Are you missing Colossus at the moment, or are you not bothered?
My head isn't missing Colossus because that thing hurts, but no, it's a good ride. It's nice that they're looking after it. I think it's much needed TLC though.
Yeah, it's quite iconic for them, and it's nice that they're doing something with it because it's been unbearable for a while, a long while.
So I say the legroom. Everyone says about how rough it is. I just think the legroom's unbearable.
It's terrible. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. As a kid, I never used to appreciate it. I used to go on it with my dad, and my dad would always complain, "It's fine, come on," with my short, stumpy little kid legs. But now, as an adult with proper legs, it's horrible.
Proper legs.
Yeah, yeah.
So while we're talking about English parks, which parks are you yet to get to? Have you been to the majority of the UK parks, or
Lots?
The UK, yeah, we still need to go to like Flamingo Land. I think that's one we definitely have quite high up on our list.
Haven't even been to Blackpool.
Yeah, never been to Blackpool.
How bad's that?
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, I mean Oakwood. Yeah, there's tons. There's tons. With first time we did Paultons was last year. So really,
phenomenal.
We're stuck in our little southern bubble. Just around London, Thorpe Park. We make the occasional sort of trip up to Alton Towers, like we did at Halloween.
Drayton Manor.
Oh yeah, we've done Drayton Manor. Yeah,
you haven't done it together.
Not together.
Yeah, we used to go straight to Manor.
Yeah, and the last time I was there was I would have been very small.
Yeah, because I've got the Viking Land now.
Since
that's open.
Yeah, it looks awesome. But yeah, there's lots of trips we need to plan, both in this country and abroad, because we'd love to see some of the parks in Scandinavia, Liseberg, Tripsdrill in Germany, and even Plopsaland. We've been talking about going to Plopsaland because it's literally like 2 hours from here. It's probably quicker for us to get to Plopsaland than it is to
I was going to say.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I've got a friend who lives in Kent, and he always says it's quicker to go to Disneyland Paris, drive there on the ferry than it is for Alton Towers.
Yeah.
Crazy,
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah. It's but we love Towers so much. I think it's easily the best park in the country.
Yeah, to say.
I didn't think you'd say that.
Oh really? What did you think we'd say? Thorpe Park?
Yeah, I thought you'd say Thorpe Park.
We love Thorpe Park.
Agreeing about Alton Towers being the best one in the UK.
I kind of circled you in as kind of being the same kind of, not like the same group of people, obviously, but like Jack Silkstone, or is it Dominic Gardner? They're really big Thorpe people. And I thought you'd both be big Thorpe people because you've got that. You're close to it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's let down a lot, I think, by its theming, which I think Alton Towers grounds are just stunning, and it's just I've always liked Alton Towers.
Yeah,
I think it's more fun to go there because we don't have it around the corner.
Yeah, it's more like a resort, isn't it? So it's more like an experience of going up there and traveling.
Whereas when you're on, at Thorpe Park, you get to the top of Stealth and you're like, oh look, there's the M3.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
you don't get that at Towers because of the tree line.
But I think the fact that we live so close to Thorpe Park as well means that we are probably a little bit critical at times. But it's because we do love it and we want it to be the best park it can, and we both agree on ways that we think it might be sort of faltering, where Towers maybe isn't.
Well, just because you've mentioned that, I know there are some people in the chat that live close to Alton Towers. So anyone who lives Stoke Way in the chat, I want you to come up with one major criticism for Alton Towers.
It's good. Yeah, I think when you live close to a place that's so close to your heart, you're going to be a bit more critical. And we've been going for years, so I think we've both seen a little bit of a decline. But we both love it still. So
we've talked. I think it was off air. We said that Ella was more the techie of the two of you. Was it her idea for both the Bitesize News and This Week in Parks, or did you have some play in that, Joe?
Yeah, it's honestly it's all Ella. I'm not gonna try and claim any credit. I need to do more work for the channel. I think
I probably really annoy Joe sometimes because I'll just like run in the room and okay, got this great idea. I'm gonna do this. There's like ideas that I've got that I haven't done yet, but Joe's like, crying out loud, here's another one that she's just got.
Ella is the queen of sort of like
impulse
ideas that sort of go off half cocked and then never really get realized. But
can you see them? Can you envisage them when she tells you, or are you a bit wondering?
Yeah, no. I mean, with bite-sized reviews, it was it was a really simple idea because we love watching other creators, but like we've spoken about, I think sometimes if a video is longer than sort of 10-20 minutes, it will really, we both switch off. We don't have the best.
It's funny you say that because I'm sort of the same.
Yeah,
I know I've got a lot of friends that do longer vlogs. I don't know if they know this, but sometimes I have to watch them in sittings.
Yeah, it's tough, and we thought because I don't know if you guys know Coaster Studios, but we used to watch over lockdown tons of their videos. Yeah. And we really loved their reviews, so I think we sort of wanted to go for a bit of that style, but even shorter. So yeah, it was a great idea. And then this week in parks again, it's super short, punchy. Just highlights from the week. So yeah, both ideas that Ella thought of, and we could execute really well.
Have you got any ideas from your side of things?
I sort of do, yeah. So I have been talking. So as
don't tell us anything that you don't want to. Don't.
No.
If we're not allowed to know them.
At the moment, it's just a pie in the sky idea. But we mentioned earlier that we're both into cocktails and we like making cocktails. We have a very sort of well stocked drinks cabinet. So I was wanting to have a coaster themed cocktail section.
Yeah.
So something along the lines of,
a bit like Hot Ones.
Yeah, like Hot Ones. If you watch Hot Ones with the wings.
Oh yeah.
Cocktails, and the cocktails would be themed to rides. So a Wicker Man would be like a smoked whiskey like cocktail, and we just sit and chat about the rides in front of the camera while we're enjoying the cocktails.
That's cool.
That's a bit.
What would happen after a few cocktails?
Well, I don't think we need to answer that.
But it won't be live.
Yeah, no, it won't be live. Yeah, pre-recorded, and then uploaded the next morning with a bit of a sore head, probably.
In case Some of the Changes has come up with a criticism, he says, he says Pinball Wizard, but I think he means Spinball Wizard. But unless the S has come off the sign, because that wouldn't surprise me.
And then the next
I actually like Spinball Wizard.
Yeah.
Pick the wrong one.
What do they put? Oh dear. I have to clarify that.
What criticism do you guys have of towers?
Excuse me.
I've not really thought about that.
We do have our bad days,
Yeah.
but we've noticed that the only bad days we really have not this year, but a couple of years ago was the odd opening day. But it obviously they've changed the staff since then as well. So credit to them. Like, it's the first day and they've been trying to, keep on top of things. You know what I mean? Yeah. You never got your steak at one point, or steak.
Oh yeah, that was great. A few years ago at Roller Coaster Restaurant, I didn't get my steak, but I got the chips. And then some else complaining, and I just jumped in and went, "Can I just pay for my chips because I never got my steak?" And he's like, "Do you want? I'll get him to send a steak." Well, no, I've been waiting like an hour. Can I just pay for my chips and go?
Yeah, but that was the only criticism that we actually really had.
I think there are other criticisms. I've just never actually thought about it.
No, but I mean, I like Alton Towers anyway, and this is the whole point why we moved up this way, was because we.
That wasn't the only reason.
Well, part of the reason.
You have to live in between our parents.
But then it's a bonus to live in between the parents. But yeah,
that's the bonus, isn't it?
Well, the bonus is the theme park and the between the parents.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people at the moment sort of have their gripes with the retro squad and think that maybe cheapens the park.
What do you think about it?
Like it's difficult, isn't it? Because they need rides, because the queues on a busy day for the coasters is just terrible. So they need more rides to soak the queues up, and obviously they either don't have the budget at the moment, or it's not on their priorities to build permanent flats. But I just think they could have thought of something else.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because especially now with what's the new one?
Curse.
No, the new retro squad.
Oh, Twistertron.
Twistertron. Yeah. That's there as well as Spin Jam, I think.
So, yeah, right next to it.
Yeah. So X Sector just feels like this weird, like, what's going on?
They got rid of the waltzer as well. That's what I was annoyed about.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. They need to do. They're clearly.
Do you think it looks bad from a perspective of? I mean, some people argue Thorpe Park or Blackpool, but a lot of people say Alton Towers is the best theme park in the UK. And then if someone was to visit from another country and then they go, hang on, why have we got these fairground rides in a park that I don't think it is, but a lot of people say is like the UK's Disneyland? I don't think it is. But a lot of people say that.
Yeah, and I think, if anyone was going to come to the country to go to a theme park, it would probably be Towers. So I do think there's the possibility that it could leave a bad taste in people's mouths.
Do you think we've got anything, just because I mentioned it, on par with, well, not on par, but sort of like the UK Disneyland, or do you think there's no parks like that?
That's difficult because I think one of the main things like with Disneyland is because the management is so strict on like how staff are supposed to like treat guests and things like that, and they've got like the whole Disney experience. I think we don't have that. We don't have any theme park, I think, that focuses that much on that. You know, you go to Thorpe Park and there's like 16-year-olds giving you dirty looks, and you know, I was one of them. it's not you know, you don't get that at Disney.
Is that why you got hired?
yeah. They were like, how rude can you be? Amazing. So but I think in terms of like grounds and stuff, I think we can definitely push like with Alton Towers, like because it's got like more natural grounds and things, whereas Disney, it's fake. So you know, we can always tap into that, but then just bring the experience separately.
But with that being said, we were also super surprised and you know, pleased with Porton's Park. And I think, you know, with more investment, they could absolutely transform that because it's beautiful. It has the grounds. It's stunning. You know, what they've done with, is it Tornado Springs? The Tornado Springs area is incredible. It's so cool. And I think that's the best themed area.
Yeah. It's clean. It's just like kept clean. It's so simple.
It's brilliant. It's it felt like a roller coaster tycoon park. I think going to Porton's. We loved it. We absolutely loved it.
I don't know if that means the same thing to you as it would to me.
Oh really? What does it mean to you? People crying up on the floor and stuff.
What's it called? The water ride at Thorpe.
Tidal Wave.
No, the other one.
Storm Surge.
Oh, Storm Surge.
Storm, yeah.
The big colourful
Storm, yeah. The one that's just plonked in the middle, and we always used to joke about this is like a roller coaster tycoon park where you just plonk a template in the middle.
That's
When you say it's like a roller coaster tycoon park, to me that means something totally different.
I'm thinking of the beautiful pre-made ones, not the ones that
Planet Coaster.
10-year-old me dreamed up.
Yeah, Planet Coaster.
Planet Coaster, yeah, that's good. Yeah, probably a more current reference than roller coaster tycoon.
Now, if you go on your YouTube, there is a video of Ella reviewing some of her videos from her old YouTube channel where she talked about sometimes from her experiences working at Thorpe Park.
Yeah, they're not even exaggerated. That's the thing. That's the craziest thing.
So I'm going to go into that a little bit, but I don't know if this is even a question that needs to be asked, but what drew you to start working at Thorpe Park?
I love roller coasters, and my parents were like, why don't you just go and work there and get paid to stand and look at roller coasters? I was like, that's a great idea. So I just, I went straight on, signed into the thing and just went there. I did work at Food to begin with because they didn't have any vacancies and rides. But then when they invite you back to come next year, I kind of brought my manager to one side and said, so are there vacancies and rides now? And they said yes. And then I worked in rides for like 2.5 years.
Really cool.
Are you allowed to tell us some stories?
I don't work there anymore. What are they going to do? Fire me? All good.
Because I've watched the video of you reviewing them because I think the videos themselves are not public anymore, are they?
I think the Thorpe Park ones should still be on my old channel. I think they're the only ones I've kept up. They should be still there.
Because the old Ella's old channel was quite big.
Yeah, it was like
it was okay. It was good. But you used to do like skits, didn't you?
Yeah, so I took those down.
Oh, that'd be good to have stuff like
that. I think it's great. I mean, when I first met Ella, she showed me, and you're a bit like, it's a bit cringe, but I think it's.
I got a bit let down, didn't I, with our vlog to Alton Towers, because we did our vlog for the Curse, and people were saying, "Oh, this was good in the vlog. This was good," and all I wanted them to say was that they liked the bit right at the start where we did that little sketch bit. That's all I said.
No one mentioned it. I hate that. When you try and introduce something new and it's just no one even notices.
So do you want to tell us about some of your experiences working in food? Because you mentioned them on your video. I don't know if people at home would find them quite humorous.
Yeah, working in food is awful. Even if you want to work at theme parks, just don't even bother doing it. So I worked in the Mexican restaurant in Nemesis Inferno and Peckish, and then occasionally they'll put you in like the hot dog stands. You get attacked by wasps all day, and yeah, it was. I think it was a mix of management having showing favoritism, so that people would show up late to work, but they were the manager's favorite, so it was fine. And also just guests being really, really rude for no reason, and also things are really overpriced too. I think I mentioned this one in my video. There was one time I made someone a jacket potato and I said, I was going to take like 15 minutes. So, you want to come back? And they said, oh yeah, it's cool. I'll just have a cup of tea first while I wait. And I said, yeah, that's fine. Made them their cup of tea. They took it, they opened it, they had it on the side, and then they came back 15 minutes later and they're like, my tea's cold. That's your own fault.
They left it on the side. They didn't take it with them.
No, they took it and they stood there talking with their friends just next to this open thing of tea. They took it, took the lid off, put it on the side, and just kind of stood there for 15 minutes while this tea, all the steam's going everywhere. Sorry, I don't want to go into a huge rant.
I know you can go into a huge rant about it. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, food was just, I think, and this might sound quite harsh, you realize how stupid people are when you work in customer service sometimes. And it's made me, whenever I go to restaurants or, just be really nice to people who are working in service, like customer service, because the stuff that you have to put up with.
Yeah.
People trying to sneak babies on roller coasters, and it's crazy.
Yeah, actually, tell us about that time, because I don't know about roller coasters, but the teacups. I think people will like that.
Yeah, so teacups, it's a solo operation thing. So if the person's working on teacups, they're by themselves and mainly for the whole day. And it's really annoying because it's right next to Angry Birds. So the second the Angry Birds show finishes, which has a lot of kids in, people just say, oh, teacups, walk straight over and get in the queue. And it has got quite a height restriction for what it is. I think it's like 1.1, which... but this guy came and he had like a 6-month-old baby or younger. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll bring my baby on. I was like, no, you can't. I'm really sorry, you can't bring your baby on. You can go on the teacups and you can give your baby to your wife or whatever. His wife took the baby. He was like, okay, great, I'll go and sit on the teacups. He sat down on his own. And I was like, you know what, fair enough. That's your favorite ride, go for it. As the ride started, she handed the baby over the gate to him. So I had to emergency stop the ride. It wasn't going that fast at that point. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I thought you were joking. You thought I was joking? How was I joking?
Oh,
so yeah.
Gotcha.
Is that an eviction from the park at that point, or
Sorry?
is that an eviction from the park at that point?
No, people have to do crazy stuff for that. I mean, people climb into the gates at the back of Stealth to get their phone, and you've got to if someone phones up to one of the things and they give you a code to say to emergency stop the ride no matter what happens. So you're not going to say that just in case people go to the park and start shouting it. So I was operating Stealth and I get this phone call from the tidal wave photo bit, and they're like, oh yeah, someone's just jumped the fence in Stealth, because you can't see everything while you're in the operating thing. So I had to e-stop the ride, and this person was just like, oh yeah, I dropped my phone. So the ride was closed for like 45 minutes because we had to pull it all back, had to be restarted, and but I had no problem saying on the PA, this is due to guest action. I'm not going to sit there and say the ride's broken because it's bad. I'm going to say, some idiots just jumped the fence to get a phone, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, there's an element of it, I think, that again, we don't want to be too critical of Thorpe Park because this is something that's beyond their control. But some of the guests that frequent Thorpe Park can be quite difficult, I think. Yeah. In more so than what we've experienced anywhere, any other parks around the country.
And I mean, you go to Portaventura and around some of the huge roller coasters, I think it's Dragon Con, there's not even a fence because people know, oh, I'm actually not going to walk in front of a roller coaster. Whereas at Thorpe Park, they're like armed guards because people are like, oh, I want to, do monkey bars across Nemesis. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, gosh.
It
just shows the different.
It's kind of the satirical nature of British people.
Well? Yeah.
I know when a friend of ours, Theme Park James, he went to an event at Europa Park and he said, this is probably why no one talks about Europa Park here. He says, you don't seem to be advertising to the British much. And they're like, yeah, we don't want to encourage British guests, but if they happen to come, they're welcome. And that's what Europa Park say. That was one of the Macs saying that.
Wow.
So we've got a reputation. What other rides have you worked on at Thorpe Park?
So I had Flying Fish, Teacups. I had Rumble Rapids at one point, which was great for my Fitbit. I was, walking around that little turntable.
Did you have any bad stories about Rumble Rapids?
People wouldn't share boats sometimes, and I get it. I don't really like sharing boats, but when the queue's really long and we just say, look, just get on a boat. If you're a group of two, just get on the boat with someone else, and people don't, and they'll actively jump out of their boat and run to get another boat. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it's a bit annoying.
I've been told off from Rumble Rapids before.
Oh yeah, I've never.
Was it by Ella?
For standing up on the boat, yeah. It wasn't by Ella.
No, it wasn't by me. That's how we met.
We just. Why were you standing up?
Because I was a rebellious teenager. And just thought, I can do this, and I don't care if I'm going to get told off. But But yeah, then I did get told off, and I went very red and sat down.
Everything Ella has said is completely true of Towers as well.
There you go. So it's a Merlin thing.
Oh, and then Ben Holly's Adventures is saying the exact same thing when at the weekend. That the clientele of Thorpe is very different to Towers.
I like the way whenever someone tries to be nice about what they're saying, everyone else knows exactly what they mean when they're talking about the kind of people that go to Thorpe Park.
Yeah. I think it's just, I don't know why it is. I don't know why it's like that, but there are a fair few troublemakers.
Yeah, and I think the fact that like Towers is a bit more, even within Stoke, like it's you can't just like really waltz into it. Like it's kind of it's kind of set in its own little area. Whereas Thorpe Park's literally right next to Staines town centre, so it's very easy just to like walk in there.
Yeah,
you don't have to put much effort to go there.
So. Have you got any stories about Traveller Days when you work there?
Yeah, so they have their own code. They're called IC7. So like when you talk to security, like you got like IC 1 to 6, which is like how you will describe someone's like ethnicity, and they're called IC7s. They're really bad. We're told about them. I mean, most of them are actually fine and they're okay. But I think when there's lots and lots of people, especially on Easter Sunday, it's called Traveller Sunday, and it's nuts. The park is absolutely crazy. I mean, I've never seen so many like 9-year-olds wearing stilettos in my life. It's really weird.
It's how
big fat gypsy wedding.
I'm just going to ask because I think you're going to be allowed to tell me because you don't work there anymore. How does the Traveller Days, whether they're at Scarefest or Fright Nights or at the other end of the year, Easter, how does it? Is there someone who's like the leader of the Travellers community who gets in touch and goes, "We're going to be visiting your park on this day"? Because the parks know it's happening. They don't sell alcohol on that day. They know those travellers are coming then. Is it kind of organised, or do they just show up, but you know what day it's going to be every year?
Yeah, so most Sundays you go to Thorpe Park, you'll have a higher rate of travellers there because in Staines, they seem to just gather to Staines on Sundays anyway. So I think it's just sort of just like common knowledge in the area that on Sundays you're going to have more travellers, and then Easter Sunday especially, they've just been doing it every single year. I mean, they'll just kind of descend into Thorpe Park. So I don't think anyone, as far as I know, lets management know, but I think it is just like a kind of common knowledge thing.
Okay, I didn't know that. Because at Towers, it's on like one weekend at Scarefest and one at Easter weekend. And I always wondered if they got in touch and said, look, we're bringing a load of travellers on that day. Because at Towers, it's not happening every Sunday.
See, I didn't know if it was like the local council areas get in touch with each other and then just notify like the nearest sort of like attractions or tourist points or something like that, just to give them a heads up going, I don't know.
I suppose you don't really notice it.
Yeah, I'm just curious how they do
I suppose you don't really notice it at Thorpe because there's always a lot of security there anyway.
Yeah.
That day we went last year at Scarefest and we didn't know it was Traveller Day. We walked round the corner and I've clocked it and there's loads of police and I'm like, that's weird. They got more security than usual. Why have they got actual police here? And then I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then we met up with the Venture Bears, who are now called Bear Escape. Go check them out.
The Bears.
And they admitted they live in Stoke, and they said, yeah, we've never been on a day like this. They knew exactly when they walked in; it felt different.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's quite a large population around here, and where I grew up in Epsom, that's actually where my Big Fat Gypsy Wedding was filmed. I used to work in a pub, and it was Sundays, Easter Sundays mainly, but Derby Day as well. So when the Epsom Derby was on, sometimes we'd just say we're just going to shut the pub. We're not going to open today because we used to have so much trouble. But there was, someone quite high up in the traveller community who was really close with the landlord. So it was almost, if there was any trouble, he'd have him on speed dial and he'd come over and sort it out. So it's I guess we're used to it around here. It's quite a large population.
I was saying it's nice how just communicates with each other, isn't it? And make sure everyone has a good day, really, at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not, when we say about clientele at Thorpe Park, it's I think it's probably more the age of the majority of the kids that go that's probably causing more problems.
Yeah.
Just because
It's so easy to get to. Just get a bus, just straight there.
Yeah, and I used to. I mean, I was not a like terrible kid, but I used to be quite annoying as a teenager when I come to Thorpe Park. You know, it's like Ella said, it's so easy to get there. So I come down, big group of friends. You know, be really loud, really annoying, and I think that's just what Thorpe Park is, for better or worse.
I'm just saying, like, with the whole, I know I'm going back here a little bit with the subject, but with like 9-year-olds in stilettos, where they're pushing the boundaries to try and get on the rides, sort of thing.
How does that work?
I just thought I'd mention that. I was like, oh, maybe they might have been pushing the boundaries a little bit there with the stilettos.
Do you have to turn people away for that? Is it noticeable?
Yeah. So they're not allowed. I mean, if the person themselves is obviously taller than like 1.4, then you can. I mean, there's been a few occasions where people have been wearing stilettos whilst on stealth. I find it's obviously a bit uncomfortable because your legs are higher than they usually would be. But no, if there's someone who's clearly wearing like heels to look taller, you do have to turn them away. You usually send them to guest services where they like will actually measure them and then give them a band. But yeah, you just have to kind of, it's like a case by case kind of thing.
It reminds me of
to take off their shoes and be like, just take off your shoes so we know.
It reminds me of that bit in The Simpsons. I don't know if you've seen it when they go to Duff Gardens and
the lollipops.
He puts the lollipops underneath his shoes, and then the lap bar comes down, and it comes down like in front of him. He's like, "Uh-oh."
Have you seen anything about the curse?
I was actually at Towers for the they do like a company's day. So my mum works. So I was really hoping. I don't know why I thought, but I was hoping it might have been open for that. Obviously, it wasn't. I'm purposely avoiding stuff because I don't want it spoiled for me. Because we will eventually go and we will experience it. But I don't know. Maybe you've seen a little bit more of it.
No. I've been in the dark with it.
Yeah, I've seen the queue line and the station, which looks incredible. But other than that, and hearing
so you've seen the station. I was just going to say, because you mentioned about The Simpsons. We did mention this last week, I think, as well.
Oh my gosh!
But we watched the Itchy and Scratchy Land episode the other week. Just by accident, it came on Disney Plus.
How weird was that?
And there was that bit, because I'm assuming you're quite a big fan of The Simpsons, probably. There's that bit where they're in the like the bar where they're dancing and they're celebrating New Year over and over again.
Oh yeah.
And it says Happy New Year 1892 in the station. I said, do you reckon that's what the staff are like at the curse?
Yeah.
Stuck in a time
loop. Every time I rode that, we rode it about 5 times. I was shouting Happy New Year when we got on.
Is it good? I've heard it's been well executed.
Yeah, I don't know how much you want ruined, really, because
Tasty with the Joneses has put it brilliantly here. It's no spoilers, but the curse is a massive step up from Jewel, and they love it.
People said it's the best dark ride in the UK, and then I kind of stepped back and went, "Well, steady on." And then I thought, "Well, what dark rides have we actually got?" And then I thought they're probably right, actually.
Yeah. Is it better than Hex?
If it's what they think.
Yeah, because Hex isn't really. I don't know. Sometimes I go on Hex and I think I don't want to sit through this pre-show today, whereas Jewel is the ride is the show.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I kind of like both. If we're thinking about it,
if Hex ever opens,
I kind of like both.
Yeah,
I think I can't explain any further than my reasons why, but because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah.
Anyway, I didn't make a quiz this week because I tried to come up with something else that was a bit fun.
Okay.
It was kind of last minute, so only a couple of people managed to do it. But because I've seen Ella do those videos where she's criticizing Thorpe Park and the customers and the bad experience she's had, I've got in touch with friends of mine who have worked at theme parks, and they're giving a story about something that's happened to them when they've been working. So there's a couple here from they both actually have worked out on Towers. So the first one's going to be Sarah from Trek and Taylors, but I'll play it and then we can discuss. So, Lisa.
Hey everyone, it's Sarah here from the Trekking Tailors. Just wanted to drop in a quick anecdote about when I worked at the Alton Towers Resort. So I worked there as a ride host in about 95, 96, so a long time ago. And at that time I worked down on the Corkscrew and Enterprise, the Swingy Chairs, 1001 Nights, and the Junior Flyer. So my least favourite ride to work on was the Enterprise, and that was because I had a very sadistic ride operator, And at that time, if parents didn't want to go on the ride with their child, they could ask the ride host to go on with the child. And the operator knew that I didn't really like the Enterprise. And one day he made me go on 4 times in a row with 4 different children until I vomited. Thanks for that.
Wow.
Oh.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, so I love the ears. They're very cool.
That's the first thing I said when I saw it.
Yeah, awesome, really cool. Need to get some of those. Yeah, I can't do Enterprise or Zodiac. I hate them so much. So 4 times in a row. That's a really weird policy as well. I didn't know.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
that's so
someone on with the kid. I don't know if you can get away with that now.
No. Did she throw up? Sarah, did you throw up on the kid? Because I was, as if I was that kid's parent, I would not be happy. Some woman throwing up on my child.
Have you seen that scene from The Inbetweeners where he throws up on?
Classic. Yeah, that's what I'm imagining now.
Having said that, it's not making you. Well, it depends who's in the seat next to you. But I know on 13, you know, in the station where it's got the audio and it says "Don't go alone."
Yeah.
And I always turn to my friends and say, well, you can't go alone because you need 18 to batch it. Because if you haven't got enough people, they'll put staff on it so it can go around so it doesn't stall.
Ah, do they?
Yeah, because at the end, if you get near the end of the day, you haven't got 18 people on there.
Of course.
They put some staff on. So funny enough, she said that, but we've had it happen. But it's not as weird as getting on Enterprise with a kid.
No. That's okay. She managed to do it around the back rather than on the right.
Okay.
I'd report the other one.
That is commitment to the role.
Would Ella have done that?
Not with Zodiac. Anything else, maybe, yeah.
You used to do detonator in the mornings, didn't you?
Yeah, because you got to check so I mean, not like tests. I mean, the engineers will do their test, but to check if the PA works, they'd say, oh, who wants to go on detonator? It's my favorite ride at the park, so I'd go on it like, I think I've been on that. I don't know how many times I've been on it. Yeah, you know what? I would if a kid wants to go on a ride and their parents didn't, and I was able to go on it. Yeah, I mean, getting paid to go on a roller coaster essentially. But yeah, I probably would draw the line at Zodiac.
Did you ever want to operate detonator?
Yeah, it was in my area, and I really wanted to. It seems
like so much fun.
So much fun because you can choose when to drop it, and we had an operator we went the other day. He was having a great time.
Yeah,
it's a really cool one to operate, I think.
I'll let people fill the comments if they want about that story. She didn't have to clean it up because she threw up around the back. But I've got another one from a friend of mine called Jamie, who, by the way, I'll put Truck and Taylor's link in the description as well for their YouTube. So go and check them out. But I've also got Jamie, who used to work at Alton Towers. I've got a video of him telling an anecdote. So we'll listen to that and see what you think.
So, one of the weirdest, I'd probably say weirdest experiences I've ever had at Towers, because I used to be a ride operator. We were there about 5.5 years, and you see a lot of different things when you're working, and it's mostly the guests. You get some lovely guests, you get some obviously not so lovely guests, and then you get some very strange guests. So I was an operator on the Sky Ride. I operated a few other rides as well, but Sky Ride was my main one. And I think I was working on it this day, and apparently we had reports that there was a nudist in one of the gondolas. Thank the Lord I didn't actually see it in person, but sadly there were pictures afterwards that were put on Facebook. I unfortunately saw the pictures, and apparently it was a lady. She actually got undressed in the gondola as it was going over wherever it was going over, either over Wickerman or over the gardens, whichever side. Either way, she got undressed while she's in the gondola, had a photo taken, and must have got dressed again when she got out. But it just blows my mind that she put it on Facebook as well. And I just think there are loads of like customer experiences I've had and all that, but this was more of just something that I heard of and then saw pictures later, and thank God I didn't see it. But some of my colleagues who were working on it at some of the other stations did see it. They actually saw it going over, and yeah, it's that's when I think about all the different things I've experienced at Towers. There's been loads of funny memories and all that. That's definitely one of them that's up there anyway. One of the weirdest ones anyway. Like you have funny guest interactions and weird things guests ask you and all that, which I've had before. But when I think of the weirdest thing, that's definitely up there. And I wish I'd never seen the picture, but yeah, there you go. We had a nudist on the sky ride. Again, don't know who it was, but I want to keep it that way. But yeah, that's my experience. One of my weirdest experiences of working at Alton Towers.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it takes all sorts to make the world go round, but I think flashing at a theme park is probably not the sort of person you want to.
I would, if I had to guess and didn't know where that was, I'd probably guess that was Thorpe Park.
Definitely sounds like a more Thorpe Park behaviour, I think.
Yeah.
But I suppose, I mean, we haven't done the gondola in the sky ride in ages. Ella's not a fan of sky rides or anything.
You know, so many people that don't like it, and it's always weird because they'll go on roller coasters.
Yeah, I've tried. I don't get the logic, but
I don't know. It's like walking.
And it's there. It's there for a reason because it takes so long to walk everywhere, and I'm never allowed. And we're never allowed to use it.
Oh, so yeah. I wasn't sure if you take the sky ride and go, I'll see you there.
Yeah, get a couple of runs done on 13 before she arrives.
But at the end of that video, I thought, what was funny about the end? It looked like Jamie was really affected by.
Yeah,
he would be
scarred.
He would
Absolutely
be.
scarred. Yeah. It's just. I mean, it's something I spoke about on one of our episodes of This Week in Parks. I think there was someone
Disney.
who'd flashed at Disney. It's really weird.
It is weird. People have been caught canoodling, shall we say, in like various places at Thorpe Park, like on Neptune's Beach. The little kiddie water slides, wet, very appropriately named. Yeah, and the beach huts as well, and basically there's other places too. But yeah, wet was a common.
How is that beach operated?
When you say operated,
like does that water get cleaned or?
It does. I have mopped that beach more times than I'd like to admit. It's horrible. It does. It gets drained every day and refiltered, and people will go and they'll sweep it and clean it. And then the sand gets raked, and you find some really horrible things. Like you find like dirty nappies and like bits of old food, underwear. I don't know what people are doing, but yeah, it's not. But it does get cleaned. At the end of the day,
that part of the park is so strange. Like I mean, when it was built, it was a different time and stuff. But the idea of having like an open
people get really angry when it's not open. The amount of people that come up to you like, I came all the way here for a beach. It's like it's not even a real beach.
It's made of concrete.
Just drive a bit further and go to like Brighton or something.
Yeah.
I always feel like I wouldn't want to waste my time going to a beach.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, just listening to WWTP radio.
I do love the radio at Thorpe Park, though. I will say that.
I used to know off by heart the entire thing from working at Fish. Adverts and all, everything.
She still does it when we go. It'll be like an advert for like hair cream or whatever.
Yeah.
And Ella will just reel it off. Very cool.
Well, I'm not going to say it. It sounds rude, but I know the hair cream advert you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's me.
So. I'm guessing the answer would be Taron if I said any roller coaster. But what's your favourite roller coaster in this country?
Ooh, we're very differing on this.
I like Wicker Man, actually. I think Wicker Man's a good one for me. It's good fun.
Yeah, mine's Smiler. It has to be.
What?
Yeah, I just love it.
It has to be.
I just love it. I think it's brilliant. Ella's not a big fan of inversion. Well, you don't mind inversions, but I just think it's brilliant. I think the way it's been built and the theming is just so impressive.
Now you've mentioned that, I will say now you want a criticism about Alton Towers. It would be the 12th inversion on that ride.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's unbearable. It's terrible. I forgot how bad it was before I went to Towers for this corporate day, fully enjoying the ride, and then completely wasn't prepared for that last inversion, and paid the price.
Yeah, the first half is better.
What's that?
I feel like the first half of the ride before that second lift hill, it's almost like two roller coasters put together, isn't it?
Yeah. I
feel like the first half is better than the second half.
Yeah,
it's a bit jarring. I know what you mean. It is like two coaster's been stuck together, and you don't like it because there's no drop. I mean, the drop is a bit meh. I just think it's really cool. But yeah.
Is there anything you are affected by? Like, some people don't like Oblivion because of the height, or things like that. Is there anything that you're affected by, Joe, that you don't like, or makes you a bit more nervous?
Spinny rides, so like Zodiac or Enterprise. I used to have a real thing with pirate ships as well. They used to scare me so much.
You like Rush now?
I know.
I can't stand Rush.
Yeah, I love Rush, and I did the Blade for the first time. I've never done Blade before, and I did it when I most recently went and really loved it. But yeah, grew up around Chessington, so what it was called used to be called the Galleon. Was it the Galleon?
Wasn't it the Black Buccaneer or something like that?
The Black Buccaneer, that's it. And now it's the Blue Barnacle. I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know what was wrong with Black Buccaneer. But yeah, I used to be terrified of that. Threw up on it once, and then never wanted to go on them again.
What would be your main criticism of Chessington?
Oh, it's tough, you know.
I actually really like Chessington.
Yeah. Closing Bubbleworks.
Gruffalo's good though.
I knew it was going to be something probably to do with a ride that's gone that shouldn't be gone.
Yeah. But Bubbleworks was just like, as a kid, just my absolute favorite ride. It was so much fun. I used to dream. I remember dreaming about going to Chessington just to go on Bubbleworks. It was so much fun. And we didn't actually, when we went to Chessington most recently, we didn't actually go on the Gruffalo, so I still haven't done it.
It's good.
You haven't done the Gruffalo?
No, never done it. Ella's done it. I haven't.
Yeah.
Oh,
if you're looking forward to World of Jumanji.
Yeah, actually, it's nice. And I think Chessington's one of those parks that when they actually do, like one of our local parks, when they do investments, they do really well.
Yeah.
Like I think they really do care about like how their park looks.
Yeah.
I've never been to Chessington and been like, oh, it looks a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, even Crop Drop. I was skeptical about Crop Drop because I love top spins, so I loved Ramesses Revenge. But Crop Drop's really cool, and the park is just beautiful. It's stunning. Theming's on point.
Yeah, and it's cool to have another winged coaster and like one that's for like younger audiences or people who maybe are too afraid to like go to Thorpe Park. It's nice to have a bit more variety.
It's going to be a lot of people's firsts, I think, which is nice.
Definitely. I like the variety with Chessington. Like you've got your lovely views and like your quiet places at Alton Towers, but it's quite similar in a way with Chessington, I think. But it's been years since I've visited, so I always think you've got that quiet place where you can go and see the animals. But then obviously, if you want the thrills and the ride, you go obviously for the rides. But it's also quite a scenic sort of place now. Even just looking at the new ride, I'm like, I can just imagine so many photo opportunities. Honestly, it's just. Yeah,
they've all been taken by the hard hat tour.
A full-on family park.
Yeah, I've got an interesting story about Chessington actually. Just very quickly, my parents actually had their wedding reception at Hocus Pocus Hall. Back in the day, they used to use it as a wedding venue. I don't know if they do anymore. So there's some pictures from their wedding day. I wasn't there, obviously, but of them going around on the Sky Ride. My granddad and a couple of my cousins on the little Sky train.
It's not weird.
Go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to say how cool it was.
I was just going to say it'd be weird because one story, we've got a really good friend of ours called Theme Park James, and he grew up near Chessington, and he always tells us of this story where he went to a wedding reception at Chessington, and he just remembers asking the waitress over and over again, "Can I go and see the penguins?" And I'm like, wouldn't it be weird if that was the same reception?
That'd be wild. I mean, my parents would have to know him, I guess.
Or know his parents.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. If he was little.
I don't know. The time frame might fit. He's about. He's like, I don't know if you'll like saying this. Isn't he in his 40s now?
He's 40.
Yeah. So he's old. He's probably old enough.
It's possible. It's really possible.
This is the part where we're going to get a dislike, isn't it?
James.
Mentioning his age on live.
Right.
Sorry, Theme Park James.
Is there any other stuff you wanted to plug before we wrap it up?
Not from me, no.
I think so,
just thanks for everyone for watching. Thanks for having us on. And yeah, just keep following our adventures, I guess. We're going to have plenty more. Hopefully planning some European trips later this year. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we've also got a friend of Joe's who's terrified of rides, so we're going to be plugging that quite a bit.
Yeah, we're going to try and get him
trying to get him on stealth.
Yeah, give him a crash course in roller coasters. So that'll be on the channel at some point.
You got to ease him up, haven't you? Just go
oh
for
yeah,
stealth.
it'll be very slow.
Yeah.
You know, Mandrill Mayhem opening this year is perfect because that is gonna. I mean, he's terrified of it already. But
how? I don't know if you. I want to know if you thought the same I did. Were you a bit underwhelmed when the train wasn't fairy?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I guess when you actually stop and think,
for rain. Stinking.
But yeah, it looks a bit. I mean, it looks like a mandrill, but yeah, it's the fact it's like shiny. It's like a shiny plastic casing. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. The whole area is going to be wicked. So yeah, very exciting.
Yeah.
Excited. I'll put Instagram and YouTube in the description for now. But if you give me any other links, I can put them in. I'll put links for Trekking Tailors and
give them a follow.
And Jamie Phantasmic Adventures. So go and see that. Go and check that out. And next week, this overlay isn't complete, but next week, this won't mean anything to anyone, but apart from you.
Oh yes! I got so excited when I saw him opening day, honestly, because I haven't seen
people who don't know who Chandler Whittle is. It's going to be a very good show.
Oh,
Stacey's gone nuts about it.
Honestly, we had such a laugh when we used to meet up at parks and stuff. So
there's going to be a lot of stories about. I used to have a different channel about 10 years ago, and there's a lot of funny stuff that happened on there. Like one time he was stood with a lanyard taking photos of people coming into Thorpe Park. And then they thought he worked there. And he's like, no, I'm just taking random photos.
We just got lots of good memories, but obviously you'll see it in next week's
Oh, yes,
show.
next week's episode. And we're going to be talking about... I convinced him and his friends at the time there was a code phrase for not getting attacked by the actors. And then all we heard in the maze was them shouting it.
Yeah, and it was hilarious. Because they were like, oh!
But yeah, that's what we've got next week. Just thanks everyone for watching. And
thank you everyone in the comments.
Ben never did Bubble so... He's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life.
Make sure you give us a like. You know you want to.
Well, go over to Throwaway.
Yes. Go follow them. And like and subscribe them. And I'm trying to point the wrong direction again.
You got it.
Did you want to do the catchphrase?
So there you go. But thank you very much, everyone,
for
the love and support again. And it's just awesome.
One day this will work.
Oh.
Every time we ask the guest if they want to do the catchphrase at the end, they always say, I've forgotten it. Do you want to do the catchphrase?
Do you know the catchphrase?
We've forgotten it.
No!
I don't know if he's winding me up.
No, I don't. Do we? What is it?
Great.
Do you want to say it?
So we'll see you
in the rear view.
Because for now,
we're gone.
Bye.